Hey, it's Future Me here, telling you to be sure you stay till the end of the video where I have tacked on a couple of extra clips with some afterthoughts, including what I am reading for the Booktube Spin Round 3. Hello Booktube, hello friends, welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth, and in this video I want to share with you what I'm planning to read for the month of July, as well as on into the month of August. And my reading for the next few weeks is really going to be defined by some buddy reads and some big books. So before I get into that though, I wanted to just say a quick word about my hair before you mention it. I know it's really goofy right now. I don't have a regular stylist or anything. I just go wherever it's, the least expensive. And I told the girl I wanted it to about here, and of course it ended up here, and there's nothing for it except to just let it grow. It's not what I wanted. It's not laying like I want. I don't know how I want it because it's shorter than what I want, but it's not a big deal. I'm not furious about it or upset. I'm just a little disappointed because it's not exactly what I was going for. But all things work together for good to those who love the Lord, and that is me. So I have to know that it's going to work out, and I'm thankful for it. So let's just get started. I have like 4 buddy reads scheduled for the month of July, and 2 of them are audio. At least I can find them on audio, and the other 2 are print books. So I'm pretty sure I can do it, but one of them is a doorstop. Thankfully, that's one of the ones I can get on audio. But I just wanted to share with you what I'm planning to read in the upcoming weeks, and just tell you about my buddy reads. And actually one of them is kind of morphed into a read along, so you can join along as well if you want. And let's just get started. So usually each month I have my list of projects that I'm doing, and I still have that this month, but the books that I want to focus on today and show you, my big books and my buddy reads, all work towards another goal, as well as just being, they're not just a buddy read or just a big book for the sake of being a big book. They all fit into my projects. And really, other than these books, I'm still going to be reading Sunshine State books, and I did a video on that a month or so ago where you guys helped me choose. So if you saw that video, you will know what's top of my list from middle grade books. Also included in middle grade books is my Newbery project, and I am finishing up right now my last book from the 1960s. So I anticipate that my next few will be the ones from the 1950s that I have not read, and I've read about half. So I'm not going to go into that right now. I've got a few checked out from the library, so we'll just see how that goes. And I have my TBR jar project. I am working on the last couple of books for that, but not quite done. After the Golden Girls Readathon, which I just went in full force and just really loved that, and also did participate in a couple of other things as well, I was able to finish up quite a few print books. So I got so inspired that I was able to do that I kind of forgot that was really the first 20 days, and then I only had 10 left. So I started just as many more print books, and I've only gotten about half done with a lot of those. I did finish one today. It was one that I had already started, and I'm determined to focus in on at least one more that I could finish by tomorrow. I'm filming this on the 29th of June, so I want to get done with at least one more, and it's a library book. That way I can call that done and do my wrap up and check that book back in. And then I think for the most part, I am going to just go ahead and work on the ones from this month that I didn't get done. I am not going to do the author binge that I had scheduled for July. It was going to be Debbie Macomber and Colleen Coble. And sadly, I checked my Hoopla the other day, and they have taken off all of the Debbie Macomber audiobooks except 5. And I think I've listened to all of those, but maybe 1. So I could go to Scribd, but I really have several things I want to catch up on. And I don't have that many Colleen Coble books on my shelf. The ones I was going to focus on were the Aloha Reef series, and I've got the first 2 of those. If I get around to it and get caught up enough, I will. But I think I can let that rest. I can put those 2 authors on hold for now, because I just have I feel like I need to go ahead and finish up some of the other things that I want to do. Plus, I want to focus on these buddy reads. So I still also have my book club books to read for this month, for July. Of course, I have two. Oh, excuse me. It's a big truck going by and the dog has to bark. Funny thing is, when I'm going back and watching my footage again, and I'll have earbuds in sometimes, and then I hear the dogs barking on my footage, but I always think that it's in real life. I take my earbuds out and I'm like, what's wrong with the dogs? And then I realize it was on my footage. Anyway, book club for July, we're reading The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I've already read. I read that I started in March, I think finished it in April. And I'm still trying to figure out what big truck is going by. I hear it, but I can't see it. I have a window in front of me and a window beside me, and we live on a corner, and so it must be, it's out of range of where I can see it from either of these windows. So the book I have not read is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Is that how you say it? So that book is over 400 pages. So there's my first big book right there. I'm going to listen to that on audio. I don't have a physical copy of it. By the time we get done with book club and the other members of the book club are done with it, I'll have a physical copy to at least to hold up for my wrap up at the end of July. But I'm going to be listening to that on audio. I've heard really good things about it. I think it's about a woman who makes a deal with the devil, sort of, to what is it that I forget what it is she wants to accomplish, but then the deal she makes is that she's going to be invisible, or no one's going to remember her. That's it. No one's going to remember her. So I think that's going to be great. I've heard really good things about it. Okay, so I have 4 books that are buddy reads, and then a group read along that has actually already gotten started, and I've noticed several people have been already making comments about it, but I just checked out the book today, and I want to go ahead and start it in July, and that is The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. This read-along is being hosted by Becca from Hicks Books, and she set up a Goodreads group for read-alongs, and there are several discussion threads where this is divided up into, several different threads so that you can comment on it as you go along. And she even said, you can start now or you can start whenever, and just don't give spoilers in the, in the wrong in the wrong places, and then you can read it whenever you want. So I have noticed that quite a few people have already been reading it, and I'm going to go ahead and start it at some point in July and listen to this on audio. I'm pretty sure the audio is on Hoopla. This book is in print. Let's see how many pages. 493. So dangerously close to 500 pages. And then my biggest book, buddy read, is going to be with my friend Elizabeth Tyree, or Beth. Her channel is Soul Stained Ink, or Elizabeth Tyree. And we have been buddy reading this whole series. You may not recognize this book, but you might recognize this book, Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafon. We buddy read this one, and then the second book, and the third book. And then by the time we got done with the third book, this one still hadn't been translated and released in English. And so it tells you how many years it's been, because I think now this has been out a couple of years. And I just happened to think about it, and I was like, oh, I want to catch up with that series, and it's on audio on Hoopla. Both of us are going to be listening to it on audio and chatting about it, and I hope I remember enough about the third book to go into this. I'm not sure where it falls. I think, as I recall, there are some different timelines in the book. One of them I feel like was the present day, but then we went back and learned some of the backstory. I can't even remember which book that was now. But anyway, the series is The Cemetery of Forgotten Books. And look at that, the floor-to-ceiling books. And speaking of floor-to-ceiling books, if you didn't see my last video just prior to this, when I went book shopping and thrifting in South Florida, I found a bookstore called the Old Florida Bookshop. And I have some footage from it in that video. And it's like Bell's Library. It's floor-to-ceiling bookcases. It's a gorgeous store. It is narrow. It's about as narrow. You can hardly get past anybody, but it is incredible. This store is amazing. So check that out if you haven't already seen it. So anyway, this is going to be read. I think now we did talk about, because she's a teacher, so we talked about buddy reading it in the summer, but she's in the middle of a move right now. So I told her if this is not a good time, we can postpone it. Till August or whenever, but I think we're going to go ahead and get started on it. It may take us more than a month to read it. I don't know how fast we're going to go, but we'll see. And then this is another book that is over 400 pages. It's a book of short stories, 463 pages, or 462 pages. And I am going to be buddy reading this with BobbieSue Davis. She's on Instagram, and this is a Christian fiction book of short stories. It's from the Barber collection. I have a whole collection of these, and I was showing my shelf that has these when I was doing my Christian fiction bookshelf tour. And she said, hey, do you want to buddy read Homestead Brides? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I kind of forgot about it. I'm glad she reminded me the other day because I had kind of forgotten. So I suggested to her, this has 9 stories, and maybe we take like 3 days per story and chat about each story then as we finish it. So this is also going to be a book that I read in print. Well, also, no, not also, because I haven't shown you the other one. This is a book I'm going to read in print. The other one is audio. And so then, thankfully, the other 2 buddy reads are a little bit shorter. This one is a series I've been reading with my friend Mandy Garrett. That her Booktube channel now is called The Night Owl. And this is Bachelor's Puzzle by Ginger Chambers. It's book 8 in the Welcome to Tyler series. This is an old series that was published by Harlequin back in the 90s. And we got started reading this together. I had read the first one, and then I noticed she was reading, I think I had already read 2 of them, and she was reading the second one for Sarah's summer romance book bingo back a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago. And so after she got done with the second one, I was like, hey, you want to buddy read the third one? And so we did. And so then the next year we read a couple more, the next year a couple more. So now we're up to book 8. It's a 12-book series. These were published sometime, like I said, back in the 90s, one a month. And they're all by different authors, and they're set in the fictitious town of Tyler, Wisconsin. They loosely have a quilt theme. The covers all have this quilt motif, but it's not, the book is not as much about quilting as you might be led to believe by the covers. It's a pretty much straight up romance series, and a little bit steamy, not over the top, a little bit. And each is about a different couple, and there is an overarching mystery story that is carried throughout the series. In the first book, a body was found, but it was, I think, already just to bones, and so it was an old body of someone who had been dead a long time, and so that mystery is carrying on through the whole series. So anyway, we are going to buddy read this one, and also Mandy is hosting or co-hosting a readathon in July and August that I'm planning to kind of low-key participate in a little bit. It's got a lot of prompts. It's the Jurassic Park Readathon, or Jurassic ParkAthon, I think. And there's a lot of different prompts, and they're each based on different dinosaurs and different characters from the book or movie. I don't know I know there's maybe differences. And you're supposed to you pick the prompts to sort of build your park, kind of. So it sounds kind of fun, and I'm going to at least do a few prompts of that. And I will leave a link below to her channel where you can get the information about that. And then, speaking of readathons, before I get to my last buddy read, July 5th through the 11th is going to be Cozy Week, and that is a cozy mystery readathon that's hosted by Courtney, the Cortagonist. And so I think I'm going to combine my cozy readathons because I have 6 books to read for the summer reading challenge hosted by the Killing It with Cozies book club group, and that's hosted by Tiffany, the Beachbum Bookworm, and Ro from Cozy Reads Mysteries, or Cozy Reads Mystery. And The challenge there, I've already mentioned this a few times, is to read a book with a title starting with S, then U, then M, M, E, R. You don't have to read them in order, but I'm going to read them in order. I'm going to just go ahead and read them from one to the other. So I may as well read those during Co's Week. And I probably won't do Courtney's prompts. She does have 4 prompts, kind of a this or that prompt. Probably most of mine would fit in the this category and not the that category. Check out her video and you'll see what I'm talking about if you haven't seen it already. I'm sure most of you have, but I will link it below if you're interested in Co's Week. So then I am also hosting a read-along, and it's going to be also very low-key. As of right now, it's really a buddy read between myself and Donna from Studio in the Library and Storm from Storm Reads. But we wanted to open it up to the rest of you if you would like to get in on this. This is one of the Sunshine State books, and I've read this author. I think I've read a couple of books by this author, and Donna had read one of the same ones that I had read. And Storm, when I mentioned it in my Sunshine State book TBR, she mentioned that this was on her wish list. So we kind of decided to do a buddy read, and we're going to do it on Goodreads. So I'm going to set up some threads for this book on my Goodreads group, Lizziefaye's Comfy Corner. If you haven't joined, I hope you will. And feel free to jump in. This is one of our Sunshine State books this year. This is a middle grade book with kind of a creepy vibe. It's called Bloom by Kenneth Oppel. It's book 1 in the Overthrow series. And basically it is about rain that has seeds in it. So these seeds are raining down, and up are coming plants that are going wild and crazy and taking over people or something. I don't know. That's all I know so far. Sounds really creepy. Just on the back it says, in a single motion the vine flexed and looped itself around her neck. Ooh, it keeps going, but I don't like to read too much to you guys. You can read it yourself. You can look it up on Goodreads. But if you want to join in, this is going to be kind of a creepy book. And, you know, I've said before that I'm not a horror fan, but if there's one genre of horror that I like, especially in movies, I like to watch something where there's some sort of creature or insect or bug that mutates and multiplies and takes over an island or a resort or something like that. I know, they're crazy, but anyway, this sounds like something to that effect. Okay, so now I've got a couple of other big books since we're on the topic of big books for the most part in this video. Big books and buddy reads. I have finished up a couple of buddy reads in June that I have really enjoyed. So, you know, I've heard people say, you know, I've never done a buddy read before, or I've never done a group read or whatever. They can be really fun, and it sort of causes you to look for things that you might just breeze past in the, you know, first time through. And also, when you hear other people make comments, it sort of makes you think more and just read more reflectively and with just some deeper meaning. So I've had 2 really wonderful buddy / group reads in June that I will be talking more about. I'm going to devote a whole video to Greenwood by Michael Christie. I read this with Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, and we both really, really loved it. I would highly recommend. And then the group read for Pastoral June was the trilogy Lark Rise to Candleford, made up of 3 different books, Lark Rise, Over to Candleford and Candleford Green. And I just finished the 3rd book yesterday, and this is an abridged version of all 3, so it's deceiving. They are more full-length novels, all 3 of them, but very good. Just wonderful. They're set in England, in a small hamlet, or really 2 small, one's a hamlet and one's a village, I think is how they're described, and it's 1880s, 1890s England, and they're just very idyllic. And there's a TV show, Lark Rise to Candleford, which we've been watching, and my husband and I have been watching that together and really, really enjoying it. So going forward, I'm really, because of that and other buddy reads I've had in the past, I'm really looking forward to buddy reading these books, the ones that I've already shown you, and the fact that a couple of them are very large just makes it all that much more challenging. So I want to go ahead and just mention another big book that I have coming up in my near future, because this has been recommended to me by my brother. So I decided back at the beginning of the year that for August, I would read some books that were recommended to me by my brother and my sister, because both of their birthdays are in August. So my brother has been recommending that I read The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. And this is book 1 in the, what is the name of this series? I already forgot. Y'all know. Anyway, it's a giant book, and it is 973 pages long. I'm pretty sure I can get this on audio from my library. I've also got book 2. It is World Without End. I think there is a third one. I don't have it. I honestly couldn't fit it on my shelf right now if I did. I can't even fit these on my shelves. These are so heavy. Anyway, I'm going to listen to these on audio, and I'm looking forward to it. I've heard really good things about them. So I will at least get one done in August, and then if I love it, then I might go ahead and continue with the next book in September. But in October, and I don't have visuals of these, but I am going to finish the Scythe trilogy. I have that on my list of middle grade / YA trilogies to finish this year. I read Scythe back, I don't know, a couple years ago, and I have purchased on Audible the next 2. At the time I bought them, I needed to use up some credits before I did away with my Audible account, and now, of course, my library has them on audio, but that's okay. I've got them in my own Audible library, and so I can speed them up if I want to, and that's good. But I am planning to finish Scythe, and also another Neil Shusterman trilogy that I started several years ago called the Accelerati trilogy. It's not a big book series. It's just a smaller middle grade series. But anyway, so that'll be, Neil Shusterman will be my author binge for October. I just mentioned those because, you know, you clicked on this knowing that I was going to talk about big books, and I want to make sure I talk about plenty of big books. So anyway, that is pretty much what I have coming up in the way of big books and buddy reads for the month of July and on into August. By the way, I want to give another shout out to a booktuber who just started making videos a couple of months ago. She's in our Killing It with Cozies group, and she just mentioned, we were both in the comments last night on Amber's live stream that she's been doing every Monday in the month of June. Her channel name is Ambie KraftsReads, so check her out as well. But Leane is her channel name is Dark Roots Creations, I believe. I'll put everything in the description. But anyway, Leane mentioned that she is only reading big books in the month of August. So she just published or uploaded her July TBR, and she's doing series about series, which is a challenge that I started back at the beginning of the year. So yay for that. And so for July, she's focusing on series that she wants to finish or catch up with. And then for August, she was telling us that she has set a goal to read 6 big books, and but she wouldn't tell us what they are. So check out her channel. Be sure to subscribe so that you will be ready when she does post her August TBR in another month to tell us what big books that she's going to be reading in the month of August. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. And I have an anniversary coming up very soon, and I'm kind of thinking of toying with some ideas for my 6-year Booktube anniversary. So stick around, and that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you. Before I go, I thought of one other buddy read that I am hopefully going to be doing this summer. Probably not in July since I'm booked up for July, but hopefully in August if she remembers. So Becca from Hicks Books, if you're watching this, remember we talked about that we might buddy read Wicked City by Beatrice Williams. I've got The Wicked Redhead, and when I showed this in a book haul a while back, Becca was saying, oh, I've got the first one. I didn't realize it was a series. And I was like, well, let's buddy read it. So both of these books, and I think maybe the third one is on Hoopla on audio. So that is a buddy read that I'm hoping to do later this summer, maybe in August, Becca, if you're still up for it. And I just wanted to throw that in since this is about big books and buddy reads. This is not a big book, but it's not short either. It is, how many pages? Oh, it is a big book. It is 406 pages. That qualifies. So, yay, there you go. I keep adding things because I keep remembering stuff that I was supposed to include in this video. So I also wanted to tell you what my results were for the Booktube Spin round 3. So if you're not familiar with the Booktube Spin, I don't know where you've been because it's all the rage this year on Booktube. But basically, Rick MacDonnell posts a, well, first he posts an announcement telling us to pull together a list of 20 books that we want to read, but maybe we have a hard time getting to, and then he's going to spin the wheel, and one will get chosen, and that's the one we read. We don't have to read all 20 books, but we pick the one that corresponds with that number. So I've been participating since the beginning, and it's been so much fun. And each time, though, I always kind of think, oh, I really kind of want an excuse to read more than just the one. And I think for round 2, I did end up reading a second one and maybe a third one from the list. Or maybe I have by this point, which, yeah. So anyway, I got the idea that I would have 2 lists. It kind of stemmed from the fact that I had a hard time deciding which of 2 groups of books I wanted to pull my 20 books from. So I posted my Booktube Spin number 3 video, and I showed a list of books from my general fiction and a list of books from my women's fiction. Or rather than, not really a list, I just went to the shelves and showed you those. And so I figured I would come out of that with, 2 books, one from each list. Then lo and behold, when Rick spun, he decided to do 2 spins. So, of course, I've got to read both books. And because I have 2 lists, that makes 4 books. And so I actually have in my hand here 6 books because one of my picks was an author pick, and it was from my women's fiction shelf, and I have 4 different authors that I have multiple books by, and I said, and I assigned one of those authors to the first 4 numbers. Well, number 2 got chosen, and my number 2 list, my number 2 is Kate Morton, and I've got 3 books by Kate Morton on my shelves that I have not read. So I need to do a little drawing to see which one of these I'm going to read. Now, my library has audio CDs of The Lake House and The Secret Keeper, I believe. This is the shortest of the 3. This one, they're all over 500 pages. I think this one is, no, this one is almost 500 pages. It's like 480. And so, it, again, fits the big book theme. This one, I don't have access to an audio of it. And it is 560 pages. And then The Lake House is 599. Dangerously close to 600 pages. So I'm going to do a little drawing and see which of these I will read. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to really hope that I get one of the 2 that I can get on audio. But I've bravely put all 3 of them in here. So we'll see. I'm a little nervous. Secret Keeper. Yay, that is one. I always get them mixed up. Yes, Secret Keeper is one of the longer ones. No, this is the shortest one. And I can get it on audio. So, yay. It's a win-win. And so that was book 2 on my list of women's fiction. And then the other one he picked was number 20. And my number 20 was the beginning of a trilogy. It is The Beach Street Knitting Society and Yarn Club by Gil McNeil. And I've got all 3 of this trilogy on my shelves. I've really been excited to read them. Don't know anything about it other than it's a knitting theme, but I'm glad for the excuse to get to this. And then on my general fiction shelf, I said there was one book on that whole shelf that I had put on my previous 2 lists, and guess what? Got chosen. It was it. Pigtopia by Kitty Fitzgerald. And I made a joke about having books with pigs on the cover. I need to just make a whole video of all of my books I have with pigs on the cover. And there's several. Anyway, this is a book I've been trying to get around to reading. It was even on my 20 by 20 challenge as one of the standalones I wanted to read. I think it's been on both of my Booktube spin lists, so I got to read it. It's not even long. It's just written in a difficult dialect. And then book 20 was one of my Larry McMurtry books. And in this case, I didn't do a drawing. I just had 3 books on the shelf that I was interested in reading for the Booktube spin. And I just made them 18, 19, and 20. And this one is Buffalo Girls. I believe it's about Calamity Jane. And so many of his books are chunkers. This one is actually not that long. It is only 300 and... it's like 350-ish. Not quite 300, yeah, 346. So, not a big book, but still sounds really interesting. I'm pretty sure I can get this on audio. I don't know if it's on Scribd or Hoopla or what, but pretty sure I saw it somewhere on audio that I can access through my library. So, I'm excited about that. So, yay, 2 are audio and 2 I will have to read in print. And these are the two print books. I don't know what order I'll read them in or how soon. We have 3 months until the next Booktube spin. I have already finished my Booktube spin round 2, even though we had a shorter amount of time this time before round 3 was announced. I made sure I got that done super early. This was a misread book. I've already talked about it. Was it The Market Square by Miss Reed? Yes. First book in the Caxton Chronicles. So anyway, just wanted to add this on to this video because at some point over the next couple months, I will be picking up at least a couple of these and hopefully all 4 of them by the time round 4 is announced. For round 4, I'm going to only put nonfiction books for 10 of them and Christmas books for the other 10 because the months to read round 4 will be November and December. So we've got nonfiction November and Christmas seasonal reads if that's what you like to do. That's what I like to do. I like to read Christmas books in December. So that's my plan. Anyway, I will sign off again. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. Type me an emoji at the bottom if you are in the comments if you made it to this far. If there's an emoji of like a wheel, a spin or something, or even a tire wheel, put that on there if you can find that. That'll be fun. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book and God bless you.